All right, we're going to work on at least an exercise or two here before we convene for the evening. And I'm in the exercise section in the 8th edition of the textbook on page 49. And I'm going to work on number 6 to start with. So let me read the description really quick. It says, write, compile, and test a class that displays your favorite movie quote on the screen. Save the class as moviequote.java. So I know that I mentioned in one of the previous videos that my favorite technique is instead of waiting to save the file, I save it right away. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to actually close the file I have open, and I'm going to create a new file. So I'm going to go to File, New, Java. And I'm going to go through, and what did it want me to call it? moviequote.java. So I'm going to do public class movie quote. And then what do I do next? Curly brackets. This one does not auto type your curly brackets. Then we want to do an indent. Now you can use your tab key to indent if you want, or you can space, doesn't really matter. We are also going to need to have our main method. So this is the one you're going to memorize. Public static void main, string with a capital S, that is important. Square brackets, args, like a pirate, or several pirates. And then I've got myself in position to type the code. Now, what command do I use to put stuff out on the screen? You guys can just copy it from the book. System.out.println. And I'm going to use some double quotes. And what's my favorite movie quote? Oh, it's pretty simple. Okay. I figured I'd get a couple Trekkies out there. Con! All right. Actually, the lines that come before that are really cool too. Well, I remember them, but I don't know. Okay. Okay. Yeah, more than a couple. Always seems to be on cable somewhere. All right, so I've got my program all set up. I'm ready to compile and run. I'm going to hit my compile button. Oh, it requires me to save it. Save it now. I did. Did you notice what happened?
Indeed. Same as the class name.
Yep, it automatically picks it up. I'm going to save. Compile just fine. No errors. I'm going to click the run button, and there it is running. Very simple. Here's a little tip for you. I'm going to hit a couple more exclamation points in there. So now technically I need to save it again, right? Did you know if I go right to the run button, it saves and compiles and runs automatically?
Is that only after it's done one time, or you can do that
anytime? Sometimes you just want to compile without running it. You just want to make sure you don't have any errors so far, and then you can keep coding. All right, so that's one of the exercises. Now let me show you something really important. how to turn in your homework. Right, that's a good one.
Yeah.
All right, so if I was working on this and I want to turn it in, and one of my assignment instructions is almost always going to be screenshot of your code and the program running, right? And then I'll have you zip up the folder that contains your code, and then you submit that all together. All right, so I'm going to walk through that whole process. All right, for screenshotting in Windows, you should use the snipping tool. Or if you want to, download a separate piece of software, there's Snagit, GreenShot. Those are two really good tools. On a Mac, you want to use a tool called Grab. So I believe it's in the Utilities folder, or it might just be in the Applications folder. And it works somewhat similar to this. All right. So I'm going to invoke the snipping tool, and it brings up this little dialog box. And then you just simply click New, and you get your little crosshairs here. And then what I would do is I would do something like this. I would just grab exactly around the code. See that? And then I'll bring up Microsoft Word, create a new document, homework, whatever. No. The instructions explicitly will tell you to put it in a Word document. Do you want to know why? Because when I receive it in Blackboard, it renders natively in the environment. I don't have to download it, open it, and look at it. And if you have like 20 screenshots and I have to individually download every single one, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to kick it back to you with a 0 until you fix it. Okay, so I'll go back to my snipping tool here, and there's just a copy. You don't need to save it. Don't burden down your file system with extraneous files. Just copy it, come over to Word, paste, program running. We'll do another snip. So I click New. I'll just come down here, grab it, copy, back over to Word, paste it in.
Well, that's certainly eliminates a lot of options for moving forward. I can't even keep up with it.
I'll be the only one seeing it, so just be careful what you say. And then, then you put in some comments. I'll leave that up to you. The problem, with doing like the print screen approach is like getting your whole screen in here and then just seeing the code is really hard for me to see. Okay, so that's why it's good to kind of strategically grab the parts of the screen that you need.
Question relating directly then to the Udouts. Do you want an individual document for each one of the Udouts?
No.
All of them, just a separate page?
Everything together. So if you have like one assignment that's do all the Udouts, you put them in the same document. If you have one assignment that says do exercises 1, 2, 3, and 4, all in the same document.
Gotcha.
Okay?
I've got a series of like AP issues. I forgot, like I noticed the word thing and then I just completely forgot the last I could just submit it all.
Yeah, and well, you can always stitch it back together and submit it after the fact. So that's the technique for doing this. But include some information. So if let's say this is exercise 5, I had no problems, it ran great. This is exercise 6, I sat here and worked on it for 6 hours and I still can't get it to work, oh my God, help. Something like that. Because I look at that information and then if I see like 10 students are struggling with the same thing, maybe there's a problem with the assignment, maybe it's not the best assignment, or maybe I'm not teaching it as well as I could be. So that's like kind of like an important feedback mechanism for me. All right, in terms of the actual files themselves, I'm going to navigate to the location where my files are. And you already saw that I already went ahead and threw stuff into this folder. Now, while that's okay, I really don't want to be in the situation where I'm taking all my stuff and just throwing it into one folder altogether, because then when I want to zip it up and send it, yeah, not good. So what was really better to do is I might want to do like chapter 1, you do it, or something like that. And you can just take all of it, binaries and everything, throw it into that folder. And then from the folder level, you would just very simply right-click, send to, zip file, done. So you would submit your Word document and you submit your zip file. They must be submitted separately. Do not put your Word file inside the zip. I will kick it back. Then I can't read it. That's exactly correct. So if you want to see what it looks like on my end.
You do want to zip inside a zip?
No.
You want a folder next to a Word doc inside a zip.
Yeah, let me show you the procedure for submitting it. All right, so here's one of the assignments. So I'm going to click Chapter 1 Exercises. It's going to take me to this screen. And then I'm going to attach some files. And I'm going to go find my work. So the first thing I'm going to find is, well, actually, the first thing that you should put in is the Word file. So I should save this first. So let's save that. Having good organization is very important when you're doing this stuff. All right, so I'm going to actually save it outside of that folder. I mean, you can put it really wherever you want, as long as you know where it's located. So this is saved, and the first item I'm going to add to the submission is going to be the Word document. And there it is. It's probably good to name it like Homework Week 1, or have it match up with the folder name. So maybe I should demonstrate that too. Just so it matches up, okay? But what do I have going on? I have the file open. You can't change the file name while it's open, so let's close it. All right, so there's my document. I'm attaching it to the submission. I also want to attach my zip file. And then if you want to throw some comments at me, you can use the comment box if it's really brief. If you have a lot to say, you are much better off using the right submission, because you get a rich text editor and you can write a lot more content in. All right? For most of the stuff that we're doing, I mean, at most, it's like, here's my homework. I had really a lot of fun doing this. I'm hoping you say that. I learned a lot. Then you are in the wrong class. And then you hit submit. All right. Now, mine is kind of like a dummy submit because I can't really submit an assignment. Students can. But if you submit in the fashion I just showed you, put in the Word document first, then your zip file. When I see it on my end and I go to grade, the document pops up. Usually I can just look at the document and determine whether or not you did your job right. And if it looks problematic, I open up your code, run it, and see what's going on. Okay? So that's the submitting part. So hopefully that's enough of a tip here to get you guys started. But we do have to stop for tonight. We're significantly out of time, but I think you guys hopefully found this valuable. So we'll see you next week. I will begin next week by going through all the exercise solutions. We'll do them all in class, and then we'll dig into the next chapter. All right. If you look at the due dates, you guys still have a little bit of time to get the work done. Right? It's not due tonight at midnight. It's due Saturday at midnight. Okay? So you still have some time. I think that's right. Yeah, that's what this is, the 28th. Yeah, the exercises are due the following week. And that's by intent, because I know how the pacing of the course goes. Once we get into the rhythm of doing, going through the chapters and the exercises, things will move much faster. Typically, we'll spend either a week or 2 weeks on each chapter. All right, and then you usually get, from the class date where we're covering the material, you usually get about 8 to 10 days to complete the work. All right, folks, that wraps it for tonight.